Welcome to the Christian Life Coach Collective. I'm your host, Laura Malone, and you are in the right place if you want to make an impact in your life and the lives of the people around you. Maybe you even want to turn your gift of helping others into an income so you can support your family and your dreams and make a way for your calling. I'm here to guide you because you deserve to have encouragement and resources and somebody invested in you as you go invest yourself into everyone else. Let's dive into today's episode. So, once a month, all of the students from any of my courses, the Greenhouse, Call to Coach, Niche Clarity course, or the Mastermind, everybody's invited to a live coaching call to get feedback, ask questions, get coaching, whatever they need on the first Thursday of the month. And on a recent call, something came up because one of the coaches is working with ministries. And basically, the conversation wove around the idea of, do I start a nonprofit, as in a ministry that is set up as a religious or charitable nonprofit, 501c3, or do I start a for-profit business? And I gave an answer that I feel like I want other people to have the answer to. So I thought this is great episode content because many of you, if you're looking at starting a coaching business, might be asking yourself if there's a difference between running a business and running a ministry. And here is my answer. If you have a heart to serve people at any capacity, in any way, and you're doing it from a heart to serve them and love them well, to bring the kingdom of heaven to earth, to show the love of God, to reveal Jesus the way you uniquely do that. And in your heart, this calling, this business, this coaching is your ministry, then that is the answer. Being a nonprofit set up legally does not make you a ministry. Being a business set up for a for-profit does not make you not a ministry. Double negative. So your ministry is within you. It's what you are called to. It's what you pour out. It's you are in ministry at work, in the office park, at the hospital, at the school. You're in ministry at home. You're in ministry in your neighborhood. That is the truth. There's not a divide. If you were to ask Jesus or the Bible, there's not a divide that has to exist in a line that draws a difference between when you are a believer and revealing God and when you're not. And being called to ministry is personal, and it has nothing to do with money. And I know this because I've been in ministry for more than 20 years, and it has nothing to do with money. When you set up a 501c3, it literally just means that you will not get taxed on certain things. But you still have to set up all of the same processes, systems, platforms, software, all of the things. If you're a nonprofit, you still have to do all of the things. Maybe some of those platforms will let you use it for free because you were set up as a 501c3. But even when you set up as a 501c3, and this is the state side, the United States, I'm not saying that I know any of this for other countries, okay? So for all my listeners out there in Britain and Australia and across Africa, all of you guys, I don't know what it means for you. But in America, a nonprofit 501c3 organization has requirements so that you can divide it, you can actually get the benefit of not paying taxes when you buy certain resources and supplies. For the nonprofit that I run, we do disaster relief and crisis response. So when we go buy things to take to a city after a hurricane is hit, we don't pay taxes on those goods because we're bringing a benefit and resource to a community. So you have to prove when you're a nonprofit that you have to prove to the government, the American government, that you are doing so much work to benefit others, to benefit community. And you have to prove that. And that is what allows you to not have to pay taxes over here or pay taxes as an organization. Like your business will have to pay taxes. However, if you want to be a nonprofit, you have to have a board set up, and there are legalities to that. You have to have articles of organization and corporation, all of these different things. You have to lay out exactly what you're going to do as a nonprofit, how you're going to benefit people. You have to, like I said, prove that you are being of a benefit to people. You also decide what kind of nonprofit you are. You can be a religious nonprofit, such as a church would set themselves up that way. You can be a charitable nonprofit. So that would be something like if you were doing counseling for the homeless, like that would be charitable, right? There's different designations of nonprofit, and you have to choose which one you're going to be, like educational and so forth. And there are guidelines around each one of them. Now, when you're a nonprofit, if you don't want to charge anybody for your services, then you have a full-time job in addition to doing the thing that you're called to do. You have a full-time job of raising support so that you can do what you're called to do inside this nonprofit. So if you want to be a coach and you want to start it, I'm just going to encourage you to change the language about ministry. Ministry doesn't mean that nobody gets paid and there are no taxes involved. That's not what ministry is. My for-profit business is my ministry, and my nonprofit organization is also my ministry. Okay, so I show up in both of those places. My home is my ministry, and I operate in multiple different ministries, but they each have their own ecosystem, and there's systems and processes required for each one. So if you want to be a nonprofit, then you have to raise support so that you can lower your costs or do things for free. But if you can't do those things because you still have to work a full-time job to pay all your bills, then you can't do things for free in your nonprofit unless you go raise support. That is, let's say, 36 hours a day. You literally. It's a full-time job to go out and raise support, to cast your vision, raise awareness, get people connected, and invite them and show them how they can partner with you in everything that you feel passionate and called to, right? You have to prove that there is purpose and reason for them to give you their money for nothing in exchange, for them to want to help people they've never met and never will meet. Like, there is so much to it, and it can be done. I know it. I do it. However, it is in addition to all of the things that are in your heart that you want to do. A pastor who just wants to pastor the people at the church and maybe, teach and preach every Sunday, he or she also has the great burden and responsibility of inviting people to support the church financially. Otherwise, he or she cannot get paid to be the pastor of the church, and therefore they need to work a full-time job doing something else, meaning they are less available to all of the people in the church who could use their help, right? Same thing is if you're going to be a coach and you want it to be, or a teacher or a mentor or whatever you want to do, if you're not going to get paid to do what you do, or not going to get paid enough to cover all your bills. And you can do that in a for-profit business too, where you just don't charge enough or you don't get enough clients and you're not paying the bills, and then you just have a for-profit business that maybe you're doing everything for free, but you're not charging. Same thing, but the paperwork's different between a for-profit and a nonprofit. But if you're not getting enough financially to take care of you, then you have to supplement that some other way. And that means you're going to be spending your time elsewhere doing something else just to pay the bills. which means in a nonprofit, you need other people to support through donations. And that if you're a nonprofit, those donations are tax deductible for them. That may be, or may not be a benefit. Some people don't care. However, you got to go find those people. Now, instead of just finding clients, you also have to find donors. And the way you find donors is the same way you find clients. You cast vision. You tell them what's in it for them. You explain what you're doing in the world and why it matters. So now you have the job of marketing, not just to get clients and people who want you to help them, but you have to market yourself and your vision to all of the people who will give money to support you in doing what you really want to do, which is over here helping this group of people. When you're a for-profit, you can start out as a sole proprietor and not do anything depending on your region, and you need to check that out for yourself. Then you can pay your state or city, county, wherever you are, $50, $100, $200 to become a limited liability corporation, an LLC, and then set up that way. And that way, if anybody ever sues you, they can't come after anything that you own personally. They're just going to go after your actual business. And maybe your business has assets, maybe it doesn't. So you don't have to have a board. You do not have to raise donations or support. And you just need to spend anything that comes into your business. You need to build your business. You need to market. You need to create content. You have to set up your platforms, your software, all the things. Get your Socoka system into place. And then you coach people. It's great. And that is your ministry, coaching people. I'm a life coach. I help people. Tell them everywhere you go. Do it as much as possible. So I want to help you understand that if you were thinking, I'm called to full-time ministry, that doesn't mean that you can't run a for-profit business. I am called to ministry. I'm called to share the light and the love of Jesus. And I do that through my for-profit business. And I do it through a nonprofit organization. And I do it in my neighborhood and my home. And that because it's what I'm called to, and I know that, and I've responded to it. So now I do it in all these different places and these different ways, and God blesses it because there's like favor when you respond to the call on your life and what God is saying. But if you decide that you're not called to ministry and you are just going to work a job, then you really miss out on what God wants to do in the world and the atmosphere around you, your sphere of influence. You can minister to them. And ministering to them doesn't mean you're behind a pulpit. Full-time ministry is what we do when we love God and we love others. We share truth and we share love, and they know us by our fruit. So that's ministry, friend. And the old paradigm of I'm called to ministry means that I need to go spend all these years in seminary, and then I need to be called to this by this group of people, and I need to hear an audible voice of God, and I need to, I have to fully raise my own support, and I need to be living by faith, and I'm flying to other countries to minister the love of God, but I'm showing up at the airport without a plane ticket because I only go by faith. I don't ask for money. I don't charge anything. Like this paradigm that I think a lot of people get trapped in is that this is what faith looks like. This is what being in ministry looks like. This is what the sacred looks like. Sacred is internal, friends. It's in your soul, your spirit, and it's connected to God. And He's the one that's going to tell you if what's in your life is sacred or not, okay? There's a sanctification process. But in the world, the kingdom has come, and now you have the truth and the light, and you can share it. And you can tell the world around you, and you have the honor and the privilege and the calling to do so, to go minister, to make disciples, to heal the sick, to help the blind see, to raise the dead. Like, let's go. Let's prophesy to people. Like, let's hear what God says and then tell people about it. That's prophecy. So listen to the Father and don't get wound up. And like Coach Sonali says, don't get lost in the sauce. I just Love that? Don't get lost in the sauce. It's so easy to get down this rabbit hole and be like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Okay. A nonprofit can actually create LLCs, for-profit LLCs. You're going to need probably an attorney and accountant to do it. But also, an LLC, a for-profit business, can have a nonprofit arm. Pick one. I say start with the simplest thing. And if you're not coaching people, then stop thinking about any of this. Go find people to coach. Tell people, I'm a coach. I help people. I'll do it for free. I'll do it for low cost. Go get experience. Practice your coaching skills so that people will want to pay you, and you grow in this confidence of being able to be paid because you know you're good at what you do and you have the skills and you have experience. Go do that. And then worry about all this business stuff later. If you're waiting to coach people until you have this business stuff figured out, I'm telling you, stop right now. Like, this is your line. This is me drawing a line in the sand and telling you, as your coach over the podcast, stop thinking about that and don't use it as passive action and excuses for not being brave and telling people, I'm a coach, I can help you. If you're waiting to do all of these other things and it's buffering so that you don't have to do what's actually scary to you, which is telling people you're a coach, then there's no reason for you to have a website or a business or a nonprofit because you won't coach anybody. And so don't do those things because they're not going to mean anything. You have a side gig, you have a hobby of thinking about things. But if you're not going to tell people you're a coach and coach people, then you don't have a need for a business, a nonprofit, a website, or any of your systems and processes. You don't need those things because you're never going to work with people. So nobody will ever want to work with you because they will never know about you because you won't tell them. I say this lovingly from a mama bear standpoint because I know a lot of you are going, I'm stuck. I'm lost in the sauce. I'm in the weeds about a bunch of things that don't seem to matter. Because once you find your answer to those things, once you actually answer those things, you will come right back to the place of I still don't have clients. And the reason you don't have clients is because you're not telling anybody you're a coach. So, like I told him on the call, go get a bunch of people to tell you, no, I don't need to be coached. Thank you. Because as you say, I'm a coach, I help people, you will learn how to say it better. You will learn how to say it to different people. You will learn who wants it, who doesn't. You will learn so much. And so go get a bunch of no's. Go give yourself a goal. Go get 20 no thank yous in the next week. Go get 50 or 100 by the end of summer. But make that your goal. It's not failure. It is success because you will have learned so much. If you go say, I'm a life coach, I can help you. Do you want to work with me? And people say, no, oh my gosh. Awesome. Great. Have a good day. Like, that's your answer. That's your response. They're not the right person. If they aren't coachable, they don't want help, they don't want to grow, they're not the person you want to work with anyway. You want them to say no. You don't want them to rob you of time and energy and effort only to find out like they're not going to do anything that you coach them on. Like, they don't actually know what they want. They're not interested. They have no care or concern to figure it out. They are not interested in change or transformation. You want them to say no. So go find all the people who are going to say no. And in the process, you will find one or two that say yes. And that's going to give you experience because you get to coach them. But also on the other side, you know what to say, what not to say. You can refine it because you've taken action and you've got a rough draft of, when I say it like this, it feels weird to me, so I'm not going to say it like that anymore. When I say X, Y, and Z, people look confused. Okay, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to figure out what's so confusing. It was confusing to me too, but now I know. If I never said it, I would not know what it feels like to say that. I would not know what people think or feel when I say it that way. And so then if I don't know that, I can't correct it. If I have no rough draft, there's nothing to refine. Okay? So go get a bunch of no's, forget nonprofit, for profit, and just go actually coach people. Okay? I love you guys. I'm for you. Jump in the greenhouse course and get trained to be a coach and actually help people with using the Pearl practice and the 10 roots that you need that are going to help anybody do anything. Okay? See you there. If you'd like to work with me and get coaching, become a coach, or start a coaching business, check out all the courses and coaching I offer at sterlingandstonementoring.com, or you can scroll through the show notes to find all the links that you need. I pray that your day will be full of joy, hope, transformation, and the presence of God.